Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Sue Hope and I am with Notary Assist Software. Bill, hi Bill, has invited me today to speak to you about tax time and how to be the best prepared for taxes and also how to get the most out of your Notary Assist software reports. So, without further ado, let's talk about some taxes. Notaries are special people. If you haven't been told that, I'm telling you that right now. You're special. And because you're special and because you're a public servant, you have specific tax breaks that you are entitled to. But in order to get those tax breaks, you have to be diligent and keep diligent records. Notary Assist helps you keep those diligent records. So I'm going to talk to you today about getting all of your information gathered, getting it together, getting it inside of Notary Assist, and running your reports so that we can help you take the high anxiety out of doing taxes and take it down to a very minimum. And you're printing just a few reports, feeling confident about what you've done and moving on. As you make money, time is money. You want to be out there making your money and not doing your taxes inside. So where do we start? The best place to start is grabbing all the information that you've accumulated throughout the entire year. Grab that shoebox or the envelope full of receipts. Grab your journal. Grab your mileage tracking, whether it's pen and paper, whether it's a log, whether it's an app. You want to grab all those things and have them handy right at your fingertips when you sit down to tackle this situation. You want to grab all that information and have it handy. Once you have all that information handy, you want to log into your Notary Assist account. We would recommend that you hop in and go to your View Signings page. So once you log in, and I'm going to actually hop over here and I'm going to share my screen with you. So bear with me one moment while I get everything ready. And I am going to share this with you and hop over into Notary Assist. So this is our Notary Assist, and this is Sweet Jane Notary. She is doing her taxes for 2019. Now, when she joins in to Notary Assist and she puts her email address and password and logs into her account, she's always going to land on the dashboard. This is the dashboard, and this shows her what she's done this year and her expenses. But for today's example and for today's tutorial, we're going to talk about taxes and how do I get everything ready for 2019's taxes. So Jane is going to come in, she's going to go to her signings page, she's going to click on her view signings page. Now we always default to the current calendar year when we're showing you all the screens. So Jane's going to click on here for this year, and she's going to go all the way down and select last year. This is going to populate Jane's book of business for 2019. It's going to be a summary page of all the signings that she did, her income, what's still outstanding or unpaid, and the total of the two together. Jane has 3 pages worth of information that she can page through back and forth. And this gives her her information from the most recent appointment that she did all the way back to the beginning of 2019. Now that you have all of your information, your journal, your receipts, your mileage information handy and right next to you, we recommend you kind of come over here and start looking at it so you can reconcile your journal, your expenses, and your mileage with what you have inside of Notary Assist. Now this part takes a little bit of time, and you're going to want to take a little bit of you want to take the time to go through it so that you can make sure that all the information in there is correct. You don't want to miss anything. So I recommend you start with your journal, which most states do require the notary to carry a journal for the public record. For those states that don't require it, a lot of notaries consider it professional practice and best practice to carry a journal. So that's going to be your best reference as far as all of your appointments that you did for that year and who you met with, what time, what date, what notarizations took place. So that's going to be your book of business. You want to refer back to that. So as you're referring to your journal, you want to make sure all of your appointments are in first. You want to make sure that they're all invoiced, that they're all paid or not paid. and you want to make sure that all of your data points are lining up. Next, you're going to come in and see these data points over here where we have documents and signatures. This is the most important category for the notary. These are notary specific data points that are inside of Notary Assist to help you keep track of those diligent records so that you can maximize your deductions. The number of documents is the number of documents that is required for notarization at any particular appointment. So you might have done a refinance. There might have been 500 pages between the original set and the borrower set. However, only 10 of them needed to be notarized. So you would be putting in the number of documents that needed to be notarized is only 10 out of that 500 that you printed. The number of signatures is going to be the number of notarial acts that you performed at that particular appointment. So some states, you're allowed to charge per signature that you notarize. Other states are per document. Now, this is where we're going to refer you back to your boss, the Secretary of State for your particular state, to validate what your requirements are. Be very careful and make sure that you're doing your job properly. You're the professional in that state. You tell us the best number that goes in here. For this example, Jane is licensed in the state of California, and in the state of California, Jane can charge per signature on the document. So for this example that I'm clicking on right here, we have 5 documents that needed to be notarized at that particular appointment, but Jane met with 2 people that had to sign the documentation. So there were 5 documents, but there were 2 signers on each page, making the total number of signatures that she notarized at this particular appointment 10. For the other states that may not allow you to charge per signature, but they only allow you to charge per document, for you, this would be displayed as 5 documents needed to be notarized, and your signature, you notarized 5 documents because it's independent of how many signers were on the document. You notarized those 5 documents. So for your state, it would look like this. Now, once you've filled out this information, Notary Assist will do the calculation for you to determine a notarial fee value for that particular appointment. This is important because that is the amount that the IRS is saying is self-employment tax exempt, should you wish to exercise that exemption. This is a little confusing and there's a lot of information to be going over, but we wanted to give you an overview of how we're calculating that. In the state of California, you can charge $15 per signature that you notarize. So our calculations for today are going to be based on California law, since Jane is licensed in California and she lives in California. We're going to touch on this specific category here and why it's so important to get this information detailed in as we show you the tax report a little further into the video. From this page, you want to make sure that all of your information is entered in and that there's no holes. What I mean by holes is, for example, we're coming down this category of documents and signatures. And right here, there's a 0/0. I'm going to cruise across and make sure what's going on. Well, this is for service link. So this tells me that Jane probably did a refinance or some sort of real estate transaction, and she has not entered in the details of documents and signatures yet. If she leaves these blank, Notary Assist will not be able to calculate the notarial fee value associated with this particular appointment. So I'm going to grab Jane's journal. We're going to review the appointment that she did on December 18th, and we're going to look up how many documents needed to be notarized at that particular appointment. For this particular example, it was 4. She had 2 signers at this particular appointment, making it 8. And like I said, if you're in a state that does not allow you to charge per signature but per document, then yours would be 4. Once you make sure that these detailed informations are correct, you hit save. It will update that information for you. You can also access this information by clicking on the signer's last name and going to tracking. We allow you to get into this information multiple different ways. And once again, here's your notarization. These are the most important notary specific details. And these help you calculate your notarial fee value for your state. Once you're confident that the information that you have entered into your view signings page, or pages as you page through it, is complete and finished, you want to move on to your expenses. So you're going to click on expenses and you're going to view your expenses. You can click through and see what you have listed for the year and compare that to your infamous shoebox, that's what I have, or an envelope, wherever you have all your receipts. Go through all your receipts, make sure that they are in here. If not, add an expense just like you would if you need to. Make sure you have them all added and save. When you're done with all of your expenses and done reconciling your expenses, you're going to move on to your mileage section, which is going to be covered by your view signings page. Again, we have to go back to last year. Any of the appointments that are already listed are going to have an address associated with it, and depending on how you have Notary Assist set up, it will automatically calculate your mileage. So over here you can see if there's any holes, if you're missing anything or not. And if there's any blank spaces, you want to make sure that you actually drove for that appointment. If you didn't, then of course then the mileage would be 0 if they came to you. But if you did drive, you want to make sure that your mileage is in here and that it looks proper. You also want to make sure that your extra mileage is represented, so you can make sure that any of the trips that you have made to Staples, Office Max, Target, whatever you need to grab pens, paper, toner, ink, copies of documentations, if you have to fax something on the road, make a copy of something on the road, all of those business expenses lead to business mileage because you had to drive to that location to do that service. So make sure that you have all of your extra miles that may not be associated with a particular signing entered in, because Notary Assist will pull this mileage information when you run your mileage report. Once all of that reconciliation is completed and you're confident that all your expenses are in, all your mileage is in, all of your appointments are in, you're feeling really good, it's time to move over to the report section. The reports are very easy to run. We try to make it very straightforward for you and spend little time because we want you to be able to get in and get on your way. You're going to click on reports. And for today, we're going to focus on the tax report and the tax summary report. So the first report Jane wants to run is her tax report. And this will help us too with understanding your documents and signatures and how that notarial fee value works. We're going to click on tax report. Notary Assist will open another tab right next to the Notary Assist tab. By default, all of our reports run for the current calendar year. We're going to adjust our date ranges so that Jane can do her 2019 taxes. So we're going to come to the box that says from. We're going to click the drop down box to show the calendar. To arrow back a full calendar year, we're going to select the double arrow on the left. This will change it to January of 2019. Select the first so that we have 1/1/2019 in the from date. The to date, we're going to do the exact same thing. Click on the drop down box. This time, however, we're only going back 1 month. So select the single arrow back. It'll change to December 2019. Select the 31st. And then we're going to update the report. The report will now populate with Jane's 2019 information. It confirms the date range at the top right corner of the report. It gives you the title of the report, and then it'll show you all of the dates for all of the signings that you were paid for in date order. As we're looking at this report, you're going to see that the very first one, it says December 27th of 2018. Well, that's not 2019, and you're correct. However, look at the date, 12/27/2018. When you're doing signings around the holidays towards the end of the year, it's not uncommon for you to do a signing at the end of the year, but not get paid for it until the beginning of the next year. So in this example, Jane actually did this signing at the very end of 2018. She did not get paid for it, however, until sometime in 2019. It's going to track, the tax report is going to track the date that the signing happened, the last name of the signer, the number of documents that needed to be notarized at that particular appointment, the number of signatures or the number of notarial acts performed at that particular appointment. Notary Assist will actually calculate a fee value for you automatically unless you are in a quote-unquote manual state. Notary Assist does determine based on your address if you're in an automatic state where we can calculate it for you, or if you're in a state that you have to actually tell us what the fee value is. We help you set that up right at the very beginning, and we can go into more detail about that. Should you have questions, you can reach out to us. It also will let you know what your gross Schedule C is. Now, this is going to be the amount of money you were actually paid from your customer. So in this example, Jane was actually paid $200 to do the signing that was on 12/27/2018. It also will let you know what to report on the Schedule SE. Now, the Schedule SE is your self-employment tax portion when you work for yourself. So this tells you how to calculate this. Now, as we go through this first example, in the state of California, again, this is all for the state of California, there were 10 signatures that were notarized by Jane. All 10 signatures have a value of a $15 notarial fee. Notary Assist takes the 10, multiplies it by 15. That's how you get the $150 notarial fee value. She was actually paid $200 for this particular appointment. You take the 200 and remove the 150, which is her notarial fee. The difference is $50. That's the only amount that is subject to self-employment tax for this particular appointment. That can be very confusing, and we can go through that in more detail. If people have questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to us and we can kind of help you explain it. The other thing I'm going to just do a disclosure is, once again, Notary Assist is not tax, they're not tax professionals. We are a business management software tool. So we are giving you data fields that allow you to record all sorts of information so that you can then print your reports and take them to your tax professional so that your tax professional can advise you on your unique and personal situation for your tax time. So just so you know, we just provide the data points and then you print out the reports and take them to your tax professional. We do not give tax advice. On the second line of the tax report, you have Jane doing an appointment at the beginning of January 2019. She had 4 documents, 8 signatures. Her notarial fee value, again, 8 times 15, you're getting into 120. Now her payment from her customer was only $75. So there's a blank right here. The reason that there's no information here is because Jane was paid $75, but her notarial fee value was actually $120. So there's a negative balance here. So basically, there's nothing to report on your Schedule SE because she made less than what her fee value equated out to. So when you see holes over here, it's because usually the amount that you were paid is less than your notarial fee. The opposite is true when you come to the next example. So if you look at what she did on the 20th of January 2019, she performed a notarization that she was paid $80 for. Her notarial fee value was only $30, and that left $50 to be claimed on the Schedule SE. Again, your Schedule SE is the difference between your gross Schedule C and your notarial fee value. If you scroll down a little bit on April 7th, she has a blank right here. Now this is showing that she did 2 appointments, both on the 7th. There's no information here for the number of documents and the number of signatures, giving a $0 notarial fee value. She was paid $75 for each one of these appointments. And this can happen especially if a notary is doing an appointment, but there's actually no notarial acts performed. Some notaries will actually go out and they're hired by the mortgage company for the notary to witness and or walk people through the actual application for a mortgage. So there's no actual notarial act that was performed other than the notary is taking the application and helping them fill out the paperwork, but there's no notarial wording. There's nothing that the notary has to actually do. There's no notarial act performed. So you might see some holes in here, especially if you're going to do an application. There's no notarial act, so these are left blank. There's no notarial fee. You were paid for your service to go out there and witness the application being filled out properly. So none of that income is self-employment tax exempt in this example. So you make sure that if you're performing a notarial act, you record it. If you're not recording a notarial act, you're not. And that's when this information would come through. The reports always tell you how many pages the report is. So for this tax report, it's 1 of 2 pages. We give you these buttons to get through each page if you want to page through it one by one. You can also click on first and last. So if you want to go back to the first page, you arrow this way. If you want to go to the last page, you click this way. On the very last page of all of our reports, we give you a total. So we're going to give you all the information on the last page of the document, what your totals are for each column, so that you're prepared for any kind of detailed questions that may be asked by your tax professional, or if you're doing your own taxes at home, we try to give you all the information that you need to report into TurboTax or H&R Block Online, whatever. We try to give you the category totals so that you can enter that information in and move on. We also allow you to print the documents, so there is a print report button in the upper left-hand corner. You can also select to print just the current page. If you have a multiple page report, you can just print one specific page instead of the whole report because you just want to print the last page. You can do that. We also give you the opportunity to save the report to your local drive or your C drive. And we do that by clicking this little button right here. It'll drop a copy of your report to your downloads folder on your local machine. So you can then access that through the file folder located on your local machine. And where is that file folder or file explorer? It's actually that little manila folder in a silver tray icon that's in your lower left corner, usually all the way over to the left. If you click on that, it says File Explorer. You then go on to your Downloads folder and you would see the tax report listed there. You can always rename the tax report on your local machine, and you can also move it to your chosen file location. You can move that anytime based on your personal filing device on your computer, your local computer, whatever works for you. We also give you the opportunity to change the format of your report. So if by default, every report is going to be a PDF, but you can select the drop-down arrow so that you can select other formats that may work for you as well. Select the one that you wish. and then save the document or print the document. We try to keep very simple technology. So you're going to be able to flip back and forth from the tax report to Notary Assist. So if you're seeing something and you're not 100% sure if maybe you got paid for something or you didn't, you can flip right back in to Notary Assist and be right back where you were, so that you can refer back and forth to the report that you're looking at and the last page you were on in Notary Assist, to try and help keep you very organized and very straightforward, so you're not flipping through tons of pieces of paper. The next report we're going to pull up is the tax summary report. If you click on tax summary, again, it will pull up this one-page report for you. It's running for the current year, so we're going to modify the date real quick. Again, to go back one full year, you hit the double arrow, select the date that you want. To go back 1 month at a time, you select the single arrow, select the 31st, update report. This will update the summary for Jane Notary for 2019. So this is going to be all the information from her tax report. That's her totals from her tax report, the total from her Schedule SE, her total mileage from her mileage report, and her total expenses broken down so that she can see what her total expenses were. So this information is all in one, so that you can flip, you don't have to flip through a whole bunch of pages. You can print this report out and have all of your snapshot of your whole business right there, right away. Come back over to Notary Assist. You can always run the expense report, the mileage report. You can have them all open. The tax summary report is literally going to be your income, your expenses, your mileage, and your tax report all in one. So we try to give you that report that's super handy, super easy. Bill and I have done an overview of Notary Assist, and on day 5 of our training videos, we talked about all these reports in detail. So I would recommend that if you haven't looked at my day 5 Notary Assist overview, and that's the report section, to go ahead and take a peek at that. But the income report and the unpaid report are very similar. They're broken down each by customer and how many appointments you did for that customer and how much income you made for that customer. The unpaid report is the exact same way. It just lets you know which customer and which signings are outstanding and haven't been paid yet, plus their contact information, so that you can print one report and be able to get right back to your client to find out why you haven't been paid yet, to try and be able to stay on top of those outstanding payments so that you stay on top of your business. The profit and loss report is literally going to take the income report and your expense report and let you know where you are as far as how much money you're making versus how much is going out, so that you can see that. Your mileage report is a combination of all the appointments that you've done for that date range, plus any extra miles that you did for that date range, all in one report, so you can see it in a chronological order. It will total up your miles driven. It'll also give you the irs.gov miles, cents per miles calculation. We do that for you automatically, so you don't have to do any math. We do that for you. Once you are done, we recommend at the end of every single quarter, year, whatever you like to do the best, run each one of these reports and either print them so that you have them with all your backup of your journal, your receipts, your mileage log, so you can put them all together in one place for your backup records, or at least save it to your local computer so you have a snapshot of your business on that particular day, and you can flip back real easily by just pulling that report out without having to rerun the report and reshift the dates and all that negotiating. This way you have them all right at your fingertips and you're ready to go. By taking the time to reconcile all of your receipts, your mileage log, your book of business, your journal, getting prepared so that you are ready to go and run these reports, checking for any open spots or any holes by reconciling everything, it puts you in a very powerful, strong place so that you can feel confident going into your tax professional. Once you print these all out, it takes seconds. You hand them to your tax professional so that they can see everything that you're doing. We give you many fields to keep track of all sorts of data. So we give you the information for your mileage, how many miles you've driven, but we also give you the opportunity to record all the different expenses. So if you want to record your car payments, your car insurance, your automobile maintenance expenses, you only get to claim one or the other, but we're going to give you all the information so that you can put it into Notary Assist. The more data in, the better, so that you and your tax professional can decide, is it best for you to take the mileage deduction or to depreciate your vehicle? Like I said before, we are not the tax professionals, so we put all that information available to you so that you can put that in, run your reports, take that information with you so that you can sit down and show your tax professional exactly where you are that particular year. And you might claim your mileage one year and deduct your and do your depreciation on your vehicle another year. Every year is different. Every year is unique. We give you all these data points so that you can feel confident by putting that information in that you're getting the best out and that you have the best tax plan with your professional. Staying on top of Notary Assist and the data entry will make this time of year so much faster. If you're spending just a little bit of time each day, each week, each month, putting the information into Notary Assist, it makes this time of year so much faster. You can just reconcile much faster. You can make sure everything's in much faster, and then you just go straight to reports, click on your reports, print the reports out, you're done. You're ready to move forward. Our whole goal is to try and help you make this time of year as simple as possible. The wonderful thing about Notary Assist and the reports that we do have is you don't have to just run them once a year. Some people like to see their weekly business. They like to see their monthly business. They like to see it quarterly or half yearly and then also annually. We give you the flexibility to run your reports at any time so you can see the health and welfare of your business anytime. We try to make our system as powerful and customizable and unique as you are. By having that information at your fingertips, you can make the best choices possible for what direction you want to go in with your business. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help you work smarter, you don't have to put that much hard work into it. You just have to put a little bit of work into it and you'll get the maximum out of it. Thank you so much, Bill, for allowing us to be here today. I hope that we have touched on everything that you might have had questions about and that we can take some of the anxiety out of tax time down and make it almost all go away. Thank you so much for using Notary Assist, for trying it out. If you have questions, please feel free to hit us up at support@notaryassist.com or shoot a question to Bill. Bill will shoot it over to me and we'll get your answer right away. There's always a free trial on our website. If you haven't tried it yet, please feel free to do so. No credit card is needed. You have 30 days to try it out or 20 new appointments. And Bill is such a great affiliate for us. He's offering his students 25% off if you go through his link and his coupon code. So please feel free to hit him up for that. We'll be more than happy to help you out. Good luck on your taxes. I'm sure you're going to do great and you're going to have a great 2020. Thank you all. Have a great day. Thanks, Bill.